Hi, boys and girls. So I'm back. We're going to pick up with Mercy where we left off. So I'm going to get you zoomed in here. Takes me just a minute. Turn the camera the right way and get the book open. We're starting off with chapter 6. Here we go. Mercy put her snout up in the air. She sniffed. There was a wonderful smell. There was an incredible smell. The wonderful, incredible smell was everywhere. The wonderful, incredible smell was butter. Mr. Watson said, I think it's time for a bottomless bucket. Frank, why don't you go and get some treats for the ladies? At the concession stand, the little man behind the counter said, Yippee-i-o, what do you know? Hey, said Mr. Watson, you're the man who robbed us. Robbed you? Said Frank. Yes, said Mr. Watson. He tried to take our toaster. My name is Leroy Ninker, said the little man. You're a thief, said Frank. Reformed, said Leroy Ninker. I'm a reformed thief, studying to be a cowboy. Well, good for you, Mr. Ninker, said Mr. Watson. We would like several bottomless buckets. Butter on those buckets, said Leroy. We would like a great deal of butter on those buckets, said Mr. Watson. Yippee-i-o, said Leroy. That's the way to go. The smell of butter was absolutely everywhere. The smell of butter was driving Mercy wild. Where was the butter smell coming from? Mercy thought she would go and investigate. She leaped out of the convertible. She moved with purpose. Was there anything more heavenly than being caught on the trail of a true butter smell? Mercy did not think so. She trotted faster. Mercy Watson was a pig on a mission. Chapter 8. Hey now, said Alfred P. Tompkins. Speaking of pigs, isn't that a pig right there? Where? Said Francine Poulet. There, said Alfred P. Tompkins. He pointed at the pig that was trotting past the truck. The pig had its snout up in the air. The pig looked very happy. That, said Francine Poulet, is the pig from Decawoo Drive. I have dealt with that pig before. I wonder what a pig is doing at the movies, said Alfred P. Tompkins. That's a good question, said Francine. That's the kind of question that only an animal control officer can answer. Fascinating, said Alfred P. Tompkins. Don't make any sudden movements, said Francine Poulet. She reached into the back of her truck. She grabbed her net. Uh-oh. If you want to see an animal control officer in action, said Francine Poulet, follow me. Fascinating, said Alfred P. Tompkins. Simply fascinating. I'm right behind you. Chapter 9. Mercy stopped and sniffed. The smell of butter was very strong. The smell of butter was very near. The smell of butter was coming from the back seat of a station wagon. Mercy stuck her head in the window. She sniffed again. The smell of butter was coming from an extremely large bucket in the hands of a very small child. Mercy helped herself. The small child screamed, Papa, Papa, a monster is eating my popcorn. Mercy chewed. The popcorn was drenched in butter. It was delicious. A man stuck his face in Mercy's snout. What do you think you're doing? The man said. What did Mercy think she was doing? She thought she was enjoying a buttery snack. Get out of here, shouted the man. He gave Mercy a very forceful shove. Popcorn went flying everywhere. Mercy thought that perhaps it was time to move on. Chapter 10. In the front row of the Bijou Drive-In, Officer Tomalello sat up straight in his seat. Officer Tomalello said, "Did you hear that?" Mrs. Officer Tomalello said nothing. "Was that a scream of distress?" said Officer Tomalello. "It sounded like a scream of distress," he answered himself. "Is someone in trouble?" Officer Tomalello asked himself. Mrs. Officer Tomalello said nothing. "It is very possible that someone is in trouble," Officer Tomalello answered himself. "Is it time for an officer of the law to step in?" Officer Tomalello asked. "Most definitely," he answered. Officer Tomalello put his badge around his neck. He got his bullhorn from the back seat. He kissed Mrs. Officer Tomalello goodbye. He said, "I am off to make the world a safer place." "I am," he answered himself. "I am most definitely off to make the world a safer place." Mrs. Officer Tomalello waved goodbye. All right, boys and girls. So there we are. I'm going to stop right there for now. I will finish up tomorrow. So tune back in tomorrow to see the end or hear the end of Lucy Watson, Something Wonky This Way Comes. Bye for now.